Well, big tech and big government have always been in bed with each other. Whether you like it or not, they're just bringing it out in the open. There's no reason to hide it anymore. Just like how it was in the past, where I would say, like, big oil was possibly in bed with big government. Now we have big tech, which has a far more overreaching arm on society to affect your life, essentially. What do you think they're doing in China? Well, what they're doing in China is what they call a social credit system or social credit score, where if you write something, that's could be seen as negative towards a communist government, your score gets lower, and then you can't buy a bus ticket, can't buy a train ticket, can't buy an airline ticket, you can't visit some certain stores. It's like that Dark Mirror episode. So this is what's going on right now. You have the Biden White House admitting they're using big tech to silence Americans. So they're basically flagging posts that they think are misinformation. So a normal normie out there will just go, yeah, we don't want to misinformation. Well, why does the government get to determine what misinformation is? Maybe perhaps if you take this out to its full-gone conclusion, the government just starts flagging all speech they don't like. You call the president a potato, and then your posts get flagged. Or you don't like this, certain legislation, and it gets into the ether because they flagged your post, and big tech was like, and the social media giants go, yep, we don't like it because the government said it wasn't good. That's what we have now. And by the way, all of this is only going one particular way. It's going to the right side of the political spectrum. Because you're obviously a hater because you don't agree with the potato or his administration. Or if you say anything that's deemed, let's just say, against what Susan Wojcicki would have to say, you'll probably get banned off that too. You can't question certain people's lifestyles, if you will. Can't do it, but they can question your lifestyle especially mine. I'm a white guy, full and through. I have no beef with anybody. I get beef with liberal douchebags. I hate them with every, fiber of my being. I detest their existence. Just like they detest my existence. They let me know indirectly, and I'm letting them know right now directly. I don't like people who are on the left or Democrats and socialists and communists and corporate fascists. I don't like them. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they shouldn't exist. They don't want me to exist. Why? Because I'm in the way. And this is just another way for them. This is another stepping stone for them to basically, if they can't get rid of me through violent means, they'll do this non-violent thing, sort of like, well, if you post something we don't like, Susan Wojcicki will get mad, or the potato or Jen Psaki will get mad and have me removed from social media platforms that are the big ones. You see, as of right now, I'm still on YouTube. I'm still on Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble. Okay. So if they boot me off YouTube, I still have 3 other places to go. Maybe even there's more even these alt tech sites coming out. Recently, as of January 6th, I've got rid of every single social media platform that I was on, other than the ones I just mentioned. I was on Twitter, not anymore. I was on Facebook, not again. And people are asking me now, they're like, I tried to look you up on Facebook, your account's gone. I'm like, yeah, it's gone because of, and I explain why, because they're going to take whatever you say on there, even how benign it can be, and they're going to twist and contort what you say as into hate speech. And then they're going to start banning you off things. They've already said here recently that they're in league with the ADL and all these corporations to include banking institutions, airlines, bus lines, anything you can think of. They're getting in bed and they're creating their own social credit system here in the United States. Oh, don't believe me? All you got to do is look. The writing's on the wall. Up here on the left-hand side, they're using big tech, the government is, to determine what can and can't be said. I know what you're going to say. Well, I don't say anything bad. You don't say anything bad yet. Sooner or later, they're going to come for me. Whether you like it or not, you're going to, well, they're not. You're seeing things. No, you got to understand what I mean. They're coming for me. First, they're going to remove me off the big three tech platforms. Even if I don't have an account, they'll still remove me. They'll say, well, you can't do it. I'm like, well, I'm not on it. Well, you can't go. Well, I'm not on it anymore. How can you remove me from somewhere I'm not been? How can you trespass me from a place I've never been or have been or haven't been there in months? They'll do it. They'll boot me off YouTube, whatever. That's fine. Then I'll go to these other alt-tech platforms. And I don't have any faith right now that those alt-tech platforms are going to be safe in the coming years. I think they will bend the knee. Now they're not. They're playing a a fast and loose game. Well, we're not going to bend the knee to big government or even the big tech platforms. They're going to eventually. It's just not right this minute. The steely gaze of the government is only on the huge big tech platforms, not necessarily on Odyssey or BitChute or Rumble yet. But they're coming for them. Once they get all the people on the right-hand side of the political spectrum who they deem that they're too saucy or too salty for being there, and they remove them, they'll come for the other sort of milquetoast Republicans and conservatives and libertarians who sort of like, well, big tech, they can do whatever they want. Yeah, even if they're in bed with the government, well, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not doing anything wrong. Until they determine you're doing something wrong. And that is the crux of the issue here. They're in bed with each other. It's done. It's happening right now. They are in bed with each other. Jen Psaki already elucidated to that fact that they're in constant contact with the Zuck the Cuck, that caliphate loving looking dude, Jack Dorsey, Sanjay Pichai, who really runs, Alphabet, and Susan Wojcicki. They're in bed with each other. All of them are in bed with each other. That's why all this talk of, breaking up these big tech platforms isn't really being talked about anymore. Why? Well, for obvious reasons. They're in bed with the government. So the government says, jump. They say, well, how high? This high. Okay. Get rid of the Republicans off the internet. Done. Get rid of, anybody who's called Biden a potato, which would be myself and other people. Done. We'll get rid of them because that's hate speech against people with a cognitive decline. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll say. You cannot trust anybody right now, especially after January 6th. You got to understand, you can't say anything because you could say, I'm not saying you can't say it, but what I'm saying is that you can say whatever you want until it becomes too problematic and the government and big tech goes, hey, what's this guy saying here? He's saying this. Oh, we need to remove him. Oh, by the way, he said this to this guy. Aren't you investigating him? Well, yes, we are. What's 1 degree of separation? We need to investigate this guy. And whatever you say, even how benign, you can be like, hey, let's text messaging the guy the FBI is investigating. Hey, let's get a pizza and have a couple beers and watch a game or whatever. Well, that can be construed as that's talk for raiding a police station. That's how they do. That's how they're going to get you. This is how they're going to get you. You cannot trust these big tech platforms who are in bed. They're having an incestuous relationship. They're humping each other right now. Both government and big tech right now, they're humping each other for information and how to get at you. Make no bones about it. They're coming after you, and they're going to come after me. Now, they're probably going to come after me first, even though I'm, low man on the totem pole. But if you're just a normie out there who you think that I don't say anything wrong, I have nothing to worry about, you have a lot to worry about. You just don't know it yet.